One of my favorite things about the new college football video games is the fact that creative offenses are discovered by the masses and gain an appreciation for the creativity that goes into offense in college football. Last year, everyone fell in love with the go-go offense that was run by UNLV and was created by now Sacramento State head coach Brennan Marion, who was the Rebels offensive coordinator last season. This year, it looks like Rice's offense, a spread option offense, is what gamers and college football fans alike will fall in love with. It's actually the offense I based my create-a-playbook off of for my current Dynasty that I've been live streaming the past few days on the channel. This is the story of Scott Abell and Rice football. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know who you will be rebuilding in your College Football 26 Dynasty in the comments section below. Rice football has had an up and down football history, with most people knowing about the school because of JFK's famous moon speech that he gave at Rice University on September 12, 1962.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Man, JFK really knew how to give a speech, and it was so fun rewatching that speech for this video. Rice football found some success in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, winning the Southwest Conference title twice under Jimmy Kitts and 4 times under Jess Neely. Neely would go on to finish as the school's winningest head coach and the last head coach to spend multiple seasons at Rice and finish with a winning record. Todd Graham is the only other coach since Neely to finish with a winning record, but he stayed at Rice for 1 season in 2006 and went 7-6. Philip Arbuckle, Jimmy Kitts, Jess Neely, and Todd Graham are the only coaches to have above a 500 winning record among Rice's 20 different head coaches. Arbuckle coached in the 1910s and 20s, while Kitts coached in the 1930s. The program was in a rough place, and when Kennedy made his remarks on why Rice plays Texas, little did they know it would be the most football success the school would have for the next 32 years, when under head coach Ken Hatfield, they would win a share of the Southwest Conference title, but finish the year 5-6, when 5 teams finished winning a share of the conference title, when in reality it really should have gone to Texas A&M, who had a 6-0-1 conference record, was ineligible due to NCAA sanctions. Following the 1995 season, the Southwest Conference would fall apart as the Big 8 would merge with Baylor, Texas, Texas A&M, and Texas Tech, leaving TCU, Houston, Rice, and SMU looking for a new conference. They were left out of the newly founded Big 12 due to their struggles on the football field and their lack of attendance they were dealing with due to how bad their football team was. At the time, the Big 12 was a football-driven conference. Rice's football program's struggles, coupled with a relatively small overall athletic program, made it an unappealing addition. As a result of the Southwest Conference falling apart, SMU, TCU, and Rice would join the Western Athletic Conference, while Houston would go their own way and became a founding member of the Conference USA. Rice's first season in the WAC went well as they finished second in the conference with a 7-4 record and a 6-2 conference record, but they would slowly fall off under Hatfield, going 47-54 overall and 37-34 as a member of the WAC, finishing with their most success their first 3 years as a member, going 16-8. In 2005, Rice would leave the WAC to reunite with Houston and TCU in Conference USA. Though TCU had left the WAC in 2000, but would ultimately leave Conference USA before Rice joined, leaving for the Mountain West in 2005. They were also joined by Tulsa and SMU, with the 3 wanting a more geographically focused conference to reduce travel costs and improve national recognition and TV revenue opportunities. When the announcement was made in 2003, the league expected Rice, SMU, and Tulsa to join TCU, Houston, and Tulane in the Western Division of the Conference USA. As I already mentioned, TCU would leave for the Mountain West before that even became a thing. Rice president Malcolm Gillis explained at the time, "This configuration will allow for us very substantial savings in travel costs. Even more importantly, proximity of these schools will benefit our men and women athletic teams through larger reductions in time away from class." while Rice athletic director Bobby May said at the time, "We feel like this is a better place given where we are today. It's hard to relate to competition if you're scattered all over the country and are thousands of miles away from the people you're competing against." In their first season as a member of the Conference USA, the Owls were bad, going 1-10 and 1-7 in conference play, and they replaced Hatfield following the season and moved away from the triple option offense. He finished his time at Rice with a 55-78-1 record. In 2006, Rice brought in head coach Todd Graham, who helped raise $5.5 million to renovate Rice Stadium and replaced the dated AstroTurf with field turf. He brought in Major Applewhite as his offensive coordinator and replaced the triple option with more of a balanced attack. While most schools struggle with that transition, Rice would have a magical season, putting together the biggest turnaround in the country in 2006, finishing 7-5 and earning an invite to the New Orleans Bowl. This would be Rice's first bowl game since 1961. Graham would be named Conference USA Coach of the Year, while quarterback Chase Clement would put together a great season, leading to Jarrett Dillard being named an All-American at wide receiver. After signing a contract extension with Rice, a few days later, Graham would bolt for Tulsa, becoming the first head coach since Neely to finish with a winning head coaching record. Rice was not happy with this move, and when they hosted Tulsa on November 24, 2007, the Rice University Marching Owl Band presented a halftime show named Todd Graham's Inferno, based on Dante's The Divine Comedy, which concluded with the band announcer calling Graham a douchebag. Reading through the show was absolutely hilarious, and I verbally said to myself, "God, this is why I love college sports." Rice would ultimately lose the game 48-43, so Tulsa, although crying foul to Conference USA about the halftime show, would get the last laugh. They would finish the season 3-9 under first-year head coach David Bailiff, who arrived to Rice after a 21-15 record and 2005 FCS playoff semifinal appearance at Texas State. They would have a major turnaround in 2008, finishing the regular season 9-3, but their 63-28 loss in early October to Tulsa would cost them a chance at the conference title, as Tulsa would hold the tiebreaker over the Owls. Their only other two losses were to Vanderbilt and Texas that season, as they put up 40 or more points in 7 of their 12 regular season games, and scored more than 50 points 3 times, including a 77-20 dismantling of North Texas. They would make their second bowl game in 3 years, this time beating Western Michigan in the Texas Bowl to win their first bowl game since 1953, and have their first 10-win season since 1949. The next 3 seasons would be rough, going 10-26 during that period, but they rebounded with a 7-6 record in 2012, winning their second bowl game under Bailiff, and in 2013 they would have another magical season, but started off rough with a 1-2 start. They would lose to Texas A&M 52-31 and Houston 31-26, but beat Kansas 23-14. They would proceed to go on a 5-game win streak before falling to North Texas, but finished the regular season with a 9-3 record, with a 3-game win streak to lock up a bid to not only play but host the Conference USA title game. They would dismantle Marshall to win their first conference title since they won a share of the Southwest Conference title in 1994, and won their first outright conference title since 1957. They would unfortunately be blown out 44-7 by Mississippi State in the Liberty Bowl, but Bailiff had this team rolling though through his first 7 seasons with a record of 40-48, with 3 bowl game appearances, 2 bowl wins, 2 10-win seasons, and a conference title. They'd have another great season in 2014, finishing the year 8-5 and beating Fresno State in the Hawaii Bowl. Was Bailiff going to be the first Rice head coach since Neely to finish with a winning record after staying for multiple seasons? And could he tie or break his school records for bowl appearances at 6, and possibly finish with the most bowl wins in school history by a coach by winning 1 more bowl game? These all seem like realistic questions to be asking. He was the first head coach to lead the Owls to 2 10-win seasons. But then, the floor just opened up on the Owls program as they collapsed. 5-7 in 2015, 3-9 in 2016, and a 1-11 record in 2017. Bailiff was fired, finishing as the second winningest head coach in school history with a 57-80 record. Under Bailiff, Rice football reached heights it hadn't experienced since JFK's fateful remarks in 1962. 8 players had been taken in the NFL draft. The school opened a $31.5 million, 60,000 square foot Brian Patterson Center for coaches' offices and locker and weight rooms in 2015. To replace Bailiff, Rice would hire Mike Bloomgren. Bloomgren had a lot of coaching experience at Alabama as a grad assistant, offense coordinator at Catawba and Delta State, and served as an offensive assistant for the New York Jets. He would serve as David Shaw's offense coordinator and offensive line coach at Stanford before earning his first head coaching job at Rice. Things would start off really rough as they would go 5-20 over his first 2 seasons, and in 2020 they finished the year 2-3 and went 4-8 in 2021. 2022 saw Rice finish the regular season 5-7, but due to having the highest APR score among 5-7 teams, and there not being enough 6-6 teams to fill out all the bowl games, they would earn a bid to the Lending Tree Bowl, losing to Southern Miss to finish the year 5-8. Due to the craziness of college football realignment that was sparked by Oklahoma and Texas leaving the Big 12 for the SEC, Rice would earn an invite to join the American Athletic Conference, where they began playing in 2023. They would finish their first year as a member of the American going 6-6 and 4-4 in conference play, earning a bid to play in the First Responders Bowl. The game they would lose 45-21 to Texas State, finishing the season 6-7. They would start the 2024 season off 2-6, leading to Bloomgren being fired as he finished with a 24-52 record and never finished a season with a winning record. Rice would finish the season 4-8 and would make an out-of-the-box hire, which was the inspiration for this deep dive in the first place in head coach Scott Abell. When Rice was looking for their next head coach, they wanted someone who was unique and would go against the norm. Rice is a unique private institution in the American Athletic Conference, given its lofty academic standards, which are among the highest in the FBS. With a smaller recruiting pool due to these standards, the Owls decided to zig when others zag. They would hire a coach who ran the option, but not your typical option offense, more of a spread option. Abell has a history of winning and turning around programs with high academic standards. He started his coaching career at the high school level, winning multiple state titles before taking his first college coaching job at Washington and Lee, serving as the offense coordinator in 2008. In 2012, he was promoted to be their head coach, putting together a 39-24 record and making the Division III playoffs 3 times and winning 3 conference titles. In 2018, he was named head coach at Davidson, a squad that plays in the Pioneer League, which is a Division I conference that does not offer athletic scholarships. While Steph Curry raised the profile of the school back when he took the Wildcats on a March Madness run for basketball, their football program would not get the same type of boost. When Scott arrived, they had not had a winning season since 2006, were coming off a 9-58 record dating back to 2012, and 3 straight 2-9 seasons from 2015 to 2017. Abell quickly turned things around, leading the Wildcats to a 6-5 record in his first season, and followed that up with an 8-4 record in 2019. During the shortened 2020-2021 spring season, he would lead Davidson to their first conference title since 1969, and their first FCS playoff appearance, where they would fall to Jacksonville State 49-14 in the first round. In 2021, the Wildcats would go 8-3, winning their second straight conference title and third in school history, making it back to the FCS playoffs, losing to Kennesaw State 48-21. With regular season champions St. Thomas not eligible for the postseason in 2022, Davidson would instead earn the Pioneer League's bid, finishing with an 8-3 record and a 6-2 conference record. They entered the playoffs as a top rushing offense in the nation with 350.5 yards per game. They would lose to Richmond 41-0. While Davidson never found success in the playoffs, which is not all that surprising as no Pioneer League team has ever won an FCS playoff game due to being non-scholarship, the fact Davidson won 3 straight titles and found consistency at the school for their first time in 20 years is what made the accomplishment so impressive. In 2023, they finished the year 7-4, while poetically in 2024, they finished 6-5, like Abell's first season as head coach. In 2023, Davidson led the FCS in scoring offense and was among the nation's leaders in many categories. While at Davidson, he also developed strong connections recruiting Texas, which was important to Rice. One source familiar with the hire told ESPN, "He's a proven winner everywhere he's been, high school and college. He brings a high-octane and unique offense. He knows what it takes to be successful at high academic institutions and is a leader of men." During Abell's opening press conference, he made his intentions known for the program. Rice University embodies everything my family and I value: education, excellence, and community. These principles will be the foundation of our program as we build a culture of success. We're going to work very hard. Everything we put our hands on, our hearts behind, we're going to pursue for excellence. You can only build great things when people come together for something bigger than themselves, and that's what we're going to do here. Every step along the way throughout my career, we took on programs where winning was a challenge and turned those programs into championship programs. Former Davidson players and those involved in bringing Abell to Davidson believe he is going to win at Rice, and one person even called him the Magic Man, as he could win anywhere. Former player Barclay Briggs explained, "He'll be magic at Rice. He'd have Rice in the top 10 in the nation, in my opinion. His offense is that unique. Scott Abell and Rice, it could be unbelievable." During spring practice, Abell loved the buy-in by the whole team, telling the Underdog Dynasty, "The first thing that jumps out to me is the commitment of our team, our roster to be good. I see that every day in all phases. Not easy in a transition year, but I see that. I see guys competing every day." Last year, Rice's team was a senior-heavy team, so there'll be a lot of new faces on the South Main. E.J. Warner transferred. Redshirt freshman Drew DeVilliers is back after getting some playing time for an injured Warner last year, but Chase Jenkins is projected to win the starting job due to his mobility after moving to wide receiver last year. Abell loves the running back room, explaining, "I think the running back room jumps out at me every day." Q-Jack Quinton Jackson, Tajee Atkins, and two young freshmen, Tyvon Byers and DeAndre Hardman Jr., and then you have Aaron Turner, who seems to be making plays every day, and having Braylon Walker back out here helps give a boost to the passing game. On the offensive line, they return David Stickler, John Long, and Weston Kropp. Rice will have a tough schedule this year, drawing arguably 4 of the top 5 teams in the conference, playing Navy, UTSA, Memphis, and USF, while having out-of-conference games against Houston, Louisiana, and UConn, as well as an FCS matchup against Prairie View A&M. They returned 7 starters from last year's team, but that does not mean Abell doesn't have high expectations. He told Phil Steele he would be disappointed if they didn't make a bowl game this year. Going to bet MGM, their over-under win total is 3.5, but the option is hard to defend. They'll be running a fun option offense this season that I implore you to try out yourself on College Football 26. What do you think? How well does Rice football do this season? And what offensive playbook are you most excited to try this year? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos. YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.